Okay. Good morning, everyone. Thank you all for joining us this morning. On this beautiful Saturday morning, the weather has begun to change and we appreciate the first signs of false fall. Real fall probably won't begin until November, but you know, we'll take the good weather what we can get it. So thank you all for joining us this morning. We are anticipating Judge Hidalgo. Let me share my screen here so we can begin. I'm calling this meeting Coffee and Conversation with Judge Lina Hidalgo. Please provide your own coffee since we are not in the same room, but by all means, you know, get your cup ready and we will have a conversation. We are going to go a little bit out of order this morning from what I normally do, just because I told the judge that we would begin exactly at 10:30 for her to not take up her time. So all of the elected officials and people running on who are on the ballot, who are running for the primary will come after Judge Hidalgo. And there are some things I need to take care of first. So the first thing first is the minutes from the last meeting, August 28th. The call to order was at 10:05 a.m. I'll leave this up here for a moment so people can review. Yeah, let me make it larger. Can y'all see that?
Yes, we can.
Okay. Please pardon the cat who is upset that he can't be in the window.
Put the cat in the window. Why can't he be in the window?
He refuses to stay in the window, let me put it that way.
Oh.
Get a motion to adopt the minutes as written.
So moved.
Can I get a second?
Second.
Seconded.
Thank you. All in favor, please say aye.
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 Thank y'all. Minutes are adopted. The treasurer's report. The beginning balance as of 8/27/21 was $12,286.98. There were membership deposits of $365 and donations of $60 for total deposits of $425. There are withdrawals in the total amount of $57.80. So the ending balance is $12,654.18. We are anticipating deposits from Act Blue for $643.48. So the balance would be $13,297.66. All in favor?
Aye.
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 Yeah.
Aye.
Motion carries. Okay. So I will come back to the next part of this because I need to, sorry. There we go. Okay. So I'm going to stop this for a moment so I can get a broader view of all of you, and I'm not seeing my own screen. So we had discussed last month, Eric had announced that we were doing sustaining memberships for the club and that we were asking for donations to cover our expenses. And we would like to thank all of you for your generosity when it comes to our recurring sponsorships and monthly donations. In fact, they significantly exceed our monthly expenses. And as a result, I would like to implement a digital advertising campaign in the amount of $300 a month from now until the election. And I mean the 2022 election at a minimum, because our income right now is approximately $300 over expenses. This will entail not just positive messaging, but also we would like to do some quick hitting interviews with people to talk about how Democratic initiatives and Democratic legislation impacts their lives. So you get point of view of people who are where the child credit, what it does and what it means to them. So you get that kind of stuff. We would like to do some advertising in Spanish for under 40 and Chinese advertising as well for a younger voters, specifically because we want to make sure that we drive them to the polls. And I am a firm believer that the earliest we start messaging people, the better it is. Because if you show up 90 days before an election, they're going to ask where you were. We're a year out from 2022. So if they consistently see Southwest Democratic messaging when it comes to, yes, Jerry, you have your hand raised. You're muted. Unmute yourself.
I have my hand raised. Are you done with making your announcement? Or
Okay.
are you finished with that? Okay, so my question is it fair to predict that in a year from now, we'll have the same amount of difference between your expenses and the income we're receiving? Would you, I mean, $13,000 is a lot to have in the bank at any moment in time. At least it is for my bank account. I don't know about yours. So I'm just saying that I'm wondering whether the cushion you're allowing yourself is sufficient. You know, do you need to have a little more play in that? Because I'm not sure. You know, I mean, I don't know what $300 a month will buy you, but you know, would there be some more expenses you could expect as you get closer to the election that you want to rev up the, you know, those announcements or whatever?
And that, thank you very much, because that brings up my point, is that we would present the actual budget next year, but because we have this money available now, I want to begin the digital advertising portion that I had mentioned more than once this year. Basically, yes, I'm playing with the number 300 right now because that's what we have. If for some reason we had to lower it, then we'd drop down to 200. But specifically, the bylaws state that any expense over $1,000 must be approved by the membership. And because the aggregate of what I'm anticipating spending is over $1,000, the nature of it is that I want the membership to approve this, as opposed to just making the decision myself.
Oh, I appreciate that. That's not the issue.
So I just want, in other words, to be fully transparent, I'm putting a $300 right now because that's what we have. And I will tell the membership on a monthly basis if we have to lower it or if it can go up. But yes, we do have that cushion. I have some ideas for what we're going to do with that cushion when it comes to the handouts and the lit drops and stuff like that. So there's a larger plan, but right now I want to put at least the digital advertising portion into play.
Could you remind us about the structure of the sustaining membership? How much is it?
It's as little as $10 a month.
For families or for couple, you know, is it the same? Is it the same for a family as it is for an individual?
It varies on what the person wants to donate monthly, but the minimum I think is $10.
Okay, thank you.
Mary Morrison is noting, yes, Mary?
Are you looking for an emotion or a second to your motion?
I am looking for a second to my motion.
I second your motion.
Thank you. Is there any other discussion?
I had very quickly, I wanted to make sure I understood what Jerome is saying. And as an entrepreneur, well, I guess I get 22 plus years. I'm wondering, is what I hear him saying is something that I experienced early on in my career, is when I got some money, like for the first time, I got a lot of money and I was like, oh, I hit it big. So I thought this was always how it was going to be. And then when something hit, money didn't come in. And what I had to learn as a business person, as an entrepreneur, when I got the money, I had to hold on to some and budget and save so that when things went down, I was still able to maintain. So I'm wondering, and I might be wrong, but when I heard Jerome talking, that came to my mind, that we have the money now and it's some over now, and that's wonderful. But what about next year to next year? Maybe some of the people might fall off, or maybe something will happen. What cushion do we have? Now, I might be wrong. That might not be what he's saying. But as a business person, that's what I heard, because it happened to me early in my career.
And to that point, that's why I presented the balance in the bank account first, is that there is $13,000 in the account. Last year, we spent about $11,000 total on the election. So we have the money based on what 2020 did to meet those same levels. But because we have a recurring monthly income right now that exceeds our monthly expenses to the level of approximately $300, that's why I want to put that money into some level of action, specifically the digital ad campaign. So that it's not just sitting there accumulating. Yes, sir. Jerry?
Yeah, okay. So I think perhaps rephrasing, I'm not sure if it's necessary, of your motion be that what monies are in excess of the monthly or average expenditures that come from the sustaining memberships will be used for the purposes of a digital campaign or a political organizing, I'm not sure what to call it, but anyway, media campaign, so that you're not stuck at 300, nor,
Correct.
and basically to say, we're going to do it within this framework. And whether you're business oriented or not, I've been a nonprofit in a sector for many, many, many years, and it's true for both businesses and nonprofits, that you don't want to over budget your expenditures.
Right. Exactly. Judge Kovacs, you had your hand raised.
Yeah, hi, Adrian. I just wanted to ask, is this like a monthly? I mean, digital is usually monthly. It's not like you're signing like a year-long contract.
Yeah,
committing
this will be a monthly expense.
Yeah, so you could decrease it if something went astray or something.
Yes, this is on a month-to-month basis.
Okay, thanks.
Any further discussion? Any other?
Adrian, I call for the vote.
Okay, thank you. Please use the raise your hand function to signify agreeing to spend the money for a digital ad campaign.
I don't have that.
I don't either. It's not apparent where it is.
The reactions tab at the bottom.
It's in reactions. Okay, I see a overwhelming majority, so the motion has passed. Thank you all very, very, very much for doing that. We will initiate that very shortly since we have your approval. One of the fellow board members mentioned to me earlier this week that I live by the bylaws, and this is true. It is, and we try to be as transparent as possible with all of our finances so that y'all know what y'all are funding. It is not my club. It is not Eric's club. It is our club. And we want to make sure that we elect Democrats and that we are doing so in a transparent and positive manner. So with that, I need to discuss a few things, and then we were expecting Judge Hidalgo. And please pardon me, because there's two tracks that need to lead to the same conclusion. But I think we need to be very clear with the item, what has happened this past week and what was released, that democracy is under assault in this nation. And it begins with the Eastman Memo. If you are unfamiliar with the Eastman Memo it was a 6-point plan from a lawyer to the White House under the former guy that detailed how Mike Pence was to overrule and disallow multiple state slates of electors to throw the election into the House of Representatives, and by the Constitution, hand the White House back to Trump. There is an actual detailed legal memo that was released this week that highlighted that. And I do not think that it is being talked about nearly enough, because that is the heart of the insurrection that happened on January 6th. That's part one. Part two is right now, the state Senate is discussing redistricting. I had the privilege of testifying to the Senate on September 10th, and I had the privilege of testifying to the House on September 13th. Prior to my testimony on September 10th, Congresswoman Fletcher did give her testimony about redistricting, and highlighted Voter Rights Act regulations when it comes to minority districts that are performing. So it encompassed District 7. Prior to my testimony on the 13th before the House, the state demographer testified to the House about the 2020 census. I think it needs to be highlighted what he said because he repeated it twice. 95% of the growth in the state of Texas between the year 2010 and 2020 was by non-Anglos. 95% of the growth in Texas from the last census to this one was by non-Anglos. If you saw the census that just came out, it is 39.7% Anglo in Texas and 39.3% Latino. That was last year. The demographer said it is quite possible as of this point, Latinos are the plurality in Texas. And the reason I am highlighting that is because it goes back to the heart of the insurrection and what the Republican Party is trying to do. They cannot win elections anymore without cheating. If you saw the first draft of the Senate district proposals, and you saw what they did to A-Leaf when it comes to what they're doing with the redistricting, Senate District 13 is staying close to intact. Senate District 17 was rewritten. Most of Meyerland, Westbury, Bel Air, Braeswood, all of that section is now in 15, according to Joan Huffman's initial plan. A-Leaf will have a slender little line of 17 going through it in order to connect to Fort Bend County and the rest of those states in order for her to build a more rural district. So again, if you look at the census, all of the growth in Texas was in metropolitan counties. Rural counties lost population. And if you look at the census as a whole nationwide, rural counties lost population, and it was the metros that grew. So we go back to the Eastman Memo and the insurrection on the 6th and why democracy is under assault. You have to put the demographic change in this nation together with why Republicans are doing what they are doing. They just had that fraud come out yesterday, and they tried to downplay the fact that Biden won Arizona for the 10th, 11th, 12th time. Even their own idiots couldn't figure out a way to make him win that, to make Trump win that state. And now they are coming to Texas, and they will be auditing Harris County, Dallas County, Tarrant County, and Collin County. Why? Because this is where the voters are. And they're definitely coming for Harris County because, and we will have Judge Hidalgo on in a little bit, because this is the largest county in the state. It is the 3rd largest county in the nation. And Lina Hidalgo is the absolute personal symbol of the change in this country and the state. And so all week long, I've had my hair on fire with this Eastman Memo, and I don't know how far to scream and shout about it. So y'all are my captive audience this morning, and I'm begging you and I'm pleading with y'all to read the Eastman Memo, to share the Eastman Memo everywhere you can, and to reiterate, because there was a crosstalk this morning and I listened to everyone talk about Democratic messaging and Democratic stuff, and I have to tell you, absolutely nothing Democrats want to accomplish will happen if the Republicans overthrow the government and install their own minority rule, because that's what's coming unless we actually organize and remind people democracy is on the line with each and every election until the Republican Party changes, or they're all in jail. which I don't care which one happens first. So that is my that is my spiel. That is my beg to you. That is there the redistricting testimony is going on right now in Austin. They are going to gerrymander Democrats into as few seats as possible. So please, I know the other side stays angry. It is time for us to get angry. And it is time for us to understand what is happening. So there are HISD elections right now. Those are vital to maintaining public education because the Republicans and the hard right want to retake all of the school boards. So please, the club is about to start organizing its block walks to defend the Democratic members of those the Democratic seats, because Holly has two right-wing challengers. Ann's got a right-wing challenger. District 5 has 2 Democrats running in it, but they also have a right-wing challenger. So there is a concerted effort nationwide. There is a concerted effort in the state. There is a concerted effort in the county to make sure that the school boards are indoctrination centers as opposed to houses of public education. So that's the second part of my soapbox. So we will be, that was the announcement later. We are going to start the block walks for HISD. I see a hand raised. Yes, sir. Jerry?
So I appreciate you saying you're planning on block walks. My thought is I'd like to see some well-defined strategy. I understand that anger is useful. It unfortunately has been both useful and problematic for me individually, much less in organizations. So I would love to see a group of people either from this group or in concert with others, other groups, other some districts, whatever size or grouping of people we can get together to strategize what would be the effective way to defeat the Republicans, because right now they are in power. And I don't know that we have the wherewithal. I'm not, this particular Senate district, this Southwest Democrat club, but, in a countywide or even certainly statewide, plus the fact that the Republicans also control the U.S. Congress, the Supreme Court, that we have the wherewithal to do that. So we have to come up with an effective counter strategy, whatever that might be. And I'm not suggesting criminal activity, but civil disobedience might be an option. There are a variety of ways, but I would love to see us be presented with a plan rather than, alarm, alarm, alarm.
Well, the alarm is the first part to get people to understand what is happening, because there is too much complacency when it comes to. There was talk about the media. The Eastman Memo has not gotten nearly the play that it should have gotten, because it is the smoking gun of an insurrection. It was the smoking gun of overturning the election, and that should be like I've seen several law professors say this was the break the glass in case of emergency moment, that action. And so the fact that it isn't getting the play is the first part. That's what this one. Second, those conversations are happening of how to organize and what to do. And they're not just happening at the Southwest Democrat level, they're happening with statewide organizations as we speak on the best way to manage this and to make sure that things happen. And to be perfectly honest, one of my biggest things is to make sure that we reelect Lina Hidalgo. I think that is our first and foremost need when it comes to Harris County, and to keep Harris County Democratic. So we are right at 10:30, so we're expecting the judge any moment. So I'm gonna step down off my my soapbox for a moment. thank y'all all. There she is. So thank y'all all for listening to my soapbox. Judge Hidalgo, are you on? I saw. Judge Hidalgo?
Yes, hi.
Good morning,
Good morning.
everyone. She doesn't need much introduction for our audience, but I would like to just set the stage for the judge. This has been a week. It's been a year. It's been an entire administration. But when I first met, before she was judge, when we first had our first conversation, one of the things that she said to me, to Eric and I at that point was, budgets reflect our priorities. And I would like to just put out there that her administration has done an amazing job of putting money where their mouth is when it comes to numerous different things. But just this past week, yesterday, there was the election audit that was announced that there was no heads up for. COVID is a continuing issue that just continues to rage, and the state refuses to act in any kind of adult fashion. But let's not also forget the General Land Office and their fight with when it comes to flood mitigation. So Judge Hidalgo, I will let you, tell us about the state of the county and everything that you've done and you've had to do. And we will listen and tell us what the plans are and, how you deal with Greg Abbott, because that's got to be difficult.
Adrian, thank you so much. And to everybody who's here this morning, it's wonderful to see everyone. And I do remember that conversation, and I remember meeting with Eric and with Adrian. And I remember we went to a restaurant at some point as well. And you guys have been so supportive from the very, very beginning. And I can't tell you how much I appreciate that. And I see such wonderful folks on the line. And so just know, yesterday we were pushing back against this audit. And I really, it can get perhaps disheartening to say, gosh, they're just have no sense of decency is what I feel when you put democracy itself in the middle of a political fight and use it for partisan purposes. But then I also remember, and I was talking to County Attorney Menifee about this, is, we've made progress. We've made progress through ups and downs and through folks like you all and Southwest Dems and so many of our incredible clubs and incredible volunteers and activists. And so we're going to keep making that promise. And I think that our victories and our fight inspires other areas that perhaps haven't had as much success, but they will. So it's very exciting. As far as, the work we've been doing, obviously a lot of it has been disaster response, but I've tried to focus in the process on also leveraging that for good and being very, very thoughtful. And so, some areas received their funding from the federal government and kind of split it, 5 ways. So each person represented on the governing body would give it to their buddies, and that was that. We set up a very thoughtful, transparent process to disperse our federal funds. We have all, publicly available, who is selected, who gets what. We have criteria, and there's a committee that has a representative from each member of Commissioner's Court. And that is how, and of course, the purchasing department and the auditor, et cetera. And that's how we select where almost $1 billion of ARPA funding and quite a bit of CARES Act dollars Harris County has received. And so even though we're still reeling from the pandemic, we're still very much in the thick of it, long past when any of us thought we'd still be fighting it. We've done some good stuff. I'm very proud of, our rental assistance program. It is celebrated around the nation for supporting landlords and renters, for doing creative things like checking the justices of the peace docket and trying to sort of intercept the landlord tenant discussion before it turns into, you know, somebody losing their home, and instead steering them into this program. We have where we invest the dollars, for example, for rental assistance, we've mapped out the county census tract by census tract to assess need and also assess participation in the program. And so if there's an area that's not participating as much, we shift resources there. We have these community navigators that go in there and help, you know, explain the process, get people to apply, partner with community groups. And so that's been part of it. On that, on our investments in domestic violence, on homelessness, on direct financial assistance, small business assistance that's going on right now. We've put about $70 million, again, trying to be really smart about it, prioritizing not who has a friend downtown, but the smallest small businesses, minority and women-owned businesses that don't normally receive this kind of funding, businesses in particularly disadvantaged areas. So you know, try to add that, and excuse me, and then of course focusing on partnerships. So bringing in those nonprofits into the process, bringing in the folks that really have an ear to the ground. I'll share on our COVID vaccination efforts. For example, we have a program where, you know, up until the end of the month, as you guys know, you get $100 if you get your vaccine anywhere in Harris County. And so I need everybody's help spreading the word on that, because the program's going to end and it's not going to be extended, but it has made a big difference. And so we have an initiative where if you are a community group, we've partnered mostly with communities of faith, but, you know, all kinds of community groups. And you can bring people. You will get, as a group, up to $5,000, $100 for each person that you bring to get vaccinated. And we ran a pilot program with that initiative, and it was great. I mean, it had, you know, double the turnout of our other events, because these groups are using the $5,000 really creatively, you know, to do food giveaways or run Facebook ads or whatever it is. So we're trying to innovate as we respond to things. Outside of the pandemic, of course, as you guys know, you know, trying to get our flood control projects done, trying to push back on environmental issues. I'm happy to talk about what we've done on voting. I'm sure, you know, someone will have a question about what happened yesterday, so I won't get into that now. But, you know, I'm still very much focused on early childhood education, and we've got a lot more once we stop having all these disasters. So that's all to say, the work has just started. There's good work to be done. We've got a fantastic community. We've got great people at the county. And because we're making such a difference, folks at the state level are not going to make it easy for us. And so you guys know that, you know, we won everything in 18, but we barely won. My election was won by under 2 points. And so I'm going to need all the help I can get. We're all going to need all the help we can get. We've got to stay together. We elect a fantastic crop of people, and we've got to make sure that Republicans don't take the county back, because that would very much set back our efforts to take control of the state, which we desperately need to do, seeing the kind of truly tragic, extreme policies coming out of there. So I'll just end it here, and just, you know, I'm happy to answer any questions, and I'm incredibly grateful to all of you, and in particular to Eric and Adrian, because it means so much to have had your support from the very start. Thank you.
Well, thank you. And there are a few questions specific regarding to the audit, but I know that redistricting is happening right now. In fact, it's before the state. What are your thoughts on their plans to carve up communities? Like A-Leaf is being carved into 3 separate Senate districts, and what it does to people when they lose that representation.
It's I was going to say sad, but it's more than that, because in practical purposes, it really dilutes the votes of communities. I mean, it's discriminatory in some ways, honestly. And it just reminds you of the importance of having a voice, having those voices in the process. I'll share with you guys, the county is doing redistricting for the county commissioner precincts, and we have to redraw the precincts because there's a law that says that the population has to be roughly equal in the different political you know, segments, and certain precincts, particularly precincts 3 and 4, have grown so much in the kind of northern and western parts of Harris County that there's a huge imbalance that is out of line with the legal requirements. And so as we as a county embarked on the redistricting process, I asked, what is the appropriate way to do redistricting? And the answer I've received from talking to sort of independent groups and experts is, the key is to have enough community input, because you can't assume to know which communities must be kept together. It's not always obvious, it may be something to do with the particular geography of the area. Perhaps there's just a park that brings people together, and so the community surrounding that park must be together, something like that. And so at the county level, I was very adamant that we have at least a hearing before maps start being drawn. We did that. I know a lot of groups are mobilizing around organizing their community to give input. And so we've established a website, the county attorney's page, and we can send it to you afterwards if it's of interest, where folks can submit their map. You can play around with it. It's quite easy. And so you submit the map of your community and why you think it needs to stay together. And we need help from the grassroots level to try to get that input in. There's going to be a lot of hearings. They're all taking place, at like 6, 8, 9 o'clock at night. There's weekends and weekdays. And, obviously I'm just one vote in the county redistricting process, but every time I've been able to use my voice there, it's been to make sure that there's proper input and that the input is actually taken into account so that, we really respond to why things were drawn a certain way and not another way. As far as what's being done at the state level, that's why we have to keep making progress on the state. We're going to have losses. I think we all know that redistricting cycle at the state level is not going to be perfect. There's going to be a lot of tragedy in terms of how those lines are drawn. But the more noise we make, the more clear we are as to which communities need to stay together and why. And the more we make progress on the state and the federal level, because frankly, a lot of the legal framework around this needs to change so that things are done in a better way. But they can try to dilute us. But even doing that, we're making gains. So we're stronger than that. And we could use it as a mobilizing point for our community.
So one of the questions from the chat specifically about the audit that came up, surprise audit, is what is its full scope? Is it just the presidential race, or is it going to be all the races? And is the state paying for it, or are they putting the bill to Harris County?
Right. I'd love to know. I mean, it's so I learned about this on Thursday night, along with everybody else, when my team received the press release that the Secretary of State's office put out. And since then, we haven't heard anything else. So our elections administrator, Isabel Longoria, is constantly in touch with the Secretary of State's office about all manner of things, and she hasn't heard any details. Our county attorney, Christian Menifee, as well, is in constant communication. He hasn't heard anything, nor have our colleagues in other counties. I'm in touch with them. And so, they filed this with the press before they filed any of this with the relevant jurisdictional authorities, which tells us it's another clue, an obvious clue that this is purely political. So to answer your question, I don't know. I don't know what the scope of it is, or what kind of an audit. What we know is that the similar, something that was framed as a forensic audit was the audit in Maricopa County, Arizona. And that audit was very much going after personal voter information. It took 5 months. It was done by a private group, the Cyber Ninjas, if you guys will believe it. And the claims were something about bamboo ballots being shipped from Venezuela. I mean, I'm not making this up. And so it's the similar kind of thing. So what I'm focused on is, there's a couple of steps we can take. First is finding legal pushback. We, county attorney and our team, everyone's poured through the statute, and there isn't necessarily a place in the statute that says that the state can conduct a forensic audit. They can do a recount, but not this kind of forensic audit. So perhaps there's room to push back there, but our understanding is that either way, the courts are not likely to be friendly to our arguments, even if we believe our arguments are correct under the law. So then the other piece is in the press release, the Secretary of State press release says the legislature will fund this audit, something to that effect. And so they're sort of assuming that the funding is going to come through. Well, the legislators can stand up against that funding. And all of us know that most, if not all, of the legislators in Austin that have pushed for these kinds of laws around so-called fraud, that they know this whole thing is a ruse and a lie. And so I continue to have faith that it's possible to appeal to their sense of civic duty, not just the Democrats who've done a fantastic job standing up to this, but hopefully also some folks who have some level of decency. So I'm calling on legislators to not fund this. And then finally, there is the need for federal action. And, you know, as Texans, we made a lot of noise about this already, and I am certain it has moved the needle. And so we got to continue making noise, because it's really scary stuff when folks are pandering to a degree that calls into question the accuracy of elections. I mean, this is the stuff of, you know, violence. I mean, this is the stuff of democracy's crumbling when everybody, you know, when you can just with a straight face lie about who won and who lost, and the masses believe it.
Switching tax though to the state and the general land office and the funding that Harris County did not get. I know we were anticipating a great deal of money and it hasn't come through. And then there were issues with the flood bonds. Can you kind of walk us through how that's being mitigated and worked through?
Yeah, so backing up to 2017, obviously I wasn't elected yet, but after Hurricane Harvey, or 2017 into 2018, I guess is what happened right before the election, the folks who were in charge of Harris County at the time, you know, finally realized that there was the need for a serious flood investment. The problem is politics got in the way. And so this a $2.5 billion amount was selected for no other reason than somebody thought it would make sense politically. And, you know, at the time, I remember speaking to Jim Blackburn and the experts, and everybody saying, you know, it is not enough. It's important. It's a start, which is why, you know, everyone supported it. And it's good that it's great that it passed, but it's not enough. And so what turned out to be the case is, and there ended up being a similar thing with the Astrodome too, is, you know, there was a list of projects attached to the $2.5 billion. But that amount did not account for the fact that when you so increase the demand for flood control projects, that prices are going to go up, that you're going to have to do more maintenance on the new projects. So that's going to have to increase the maintenance budget. That wasn't included in the calculations. And it assumed that Harris County was going to receive $1 billion from the state. From some federal dollars of the state that were passing through the state. That was not in writing anywhere. It was simply an assumption based on a conversation that had happened with state officials. And so, but, you know, there was just this fixation with the $2.5 billion amount. So, and the Astrodome aside is because when I came in, I was also told that $105 million from the county was going to redo the Astrodome, even though, you know, voters had voted against it. And then it turned out $105 million didn't account for the fact that you needed air conditioning and that the walls needed to have a finishing on them so people can actually, you know, use the space. And so it's just kind of it just tells you, you know, why we need different folks in office, or we need it, and now we need to keep them. So anyway, so fast forward to now, the state decided that they were not sending us that $1 billion after all. And that was when the GLO said, you know, out of the funds they received, about $4 billion, that Houston and Harris County were not going to get any. And then the costs had already gone up. So what we did, there was a lot of mobilizing, a lot of work. I have to thank our legislative delegation to the state for that as well. And frankly, it was a bipartisan push. So that I'm grateful for, is that all my colleagues on Commissioner's Court stepped up. And so then the state said that they're going to send Harris County $750 million. Now the city had been expecting $1 billion of their own as well. So now, what I'm pushing for is to say we need, Harris County needs its $750 million, because ultimately we do flood control for the entire county, including the city. I mean, if you've seen the progress on Brays Bayou, that's the county, every channel, every bayou, that's Harris County. The city does the drainage inside the city, but we of course still have 33 other cities and the channels in the city of Houston. So we need that. The city of Houston also needs their billion. And then in order to fund the maintenance budget and the increased cost budget that the previous folks hadn't accounted for, we have figured out a way to take transportation funding from the toll road and use it for flood control. And so it is not ideal, because we need transportation too. We need trails and bike lanes and sidewalks and schools. And so that's why it's important to really, project out what we're going to need. And ultimately, I think, the 750 million, the federal government has to approve it. So right now, making the strongest possible case to Secretary Fudge, a HUD secretary, for her to approve that. We should know in the next few months. And then the truth of the matter is we're going to need another flood bond at some point, because we need a lot more than $2.5 billion to be truly resilient. But we're moving those projects as quickly as they can humanly be done. We have adopted the most stringent detention requirements that we can under law, and have gotten the other cities, including the city of Houston, to adopt them as well. We're working on Montgomery County and the counties that drain into our area, and it's sort of a tragedy of the commons type situation there. And we are seeing results. When Tropical Storm Beta hit Meyerland, Brays Bayou did well because we had gotten that done for the most part. So, another Harvey, another sort of Imelda level flood, that's why we need more investments.
So you mentioned transportation. What is the status of the I-45 debacle?
I-45. So we all know we need another highway. We need an updated highway. I-45 is dangerous. It's not appropriate for flood control. I mean, it's worse than the backup that was happening in Brays Bayou here in 59 to 88. But the current design proposed by TxDOT is not appropriate, because it asks to widen the highway. It makes no provisions for transit, so it locks us into our current state of being of no transit. And so the implications of that are, you widen the highway, a lot of schools are coming into the footprint that has been shown by enough studies to cause asthma in children, increases air pollution. Wider highways don't reduce traffic. In fact, they increase it. We saw what happened with I-10, and that's been shown around the nation. Traffic goes down for a little bit, and then within months, it goes back up. And then wider highways encourage speeding, which is why, even though we have these massive highways here, we have the most traffic deaths of any community in the country. 600 people lose their lives on the road in our county every single year, which is unbelievable. That's like 2 planes falling from the sky every year. And it doesn't have to be that way. And we also have lost our competitive edge when it comes to transit. We're trying to bring more people to our region. We're trying to keep folks here, and some certain folks right here from major companies, they don't want to live here because they don't want to have a car. And there's no way, you have to be, precisely within the metro route to not be able to have one, because we just don't have enough transit to where you can really, consistently for the majority of the population sort of work on your way to work and have this place have that benefit as other communities. So The federal government has ordered that TxDOT stop progress on I-45 because they believe their project is violative of the Civil Rights Act. And that is because the current design also displaces thousands and thousands of people without appropriate, relocation and support for them. And then we had filed as Harris County a lawsuit saying that I-45 does not meet its environmental standards, which it doesn't. So we're still in that situation. TxDOT is trying to say, well, if you guys are going to do this, we're just going to take the highway away. And that is in bad faith, because we know we need a project. We just deserve a project that the community wants, and the community is almost unanimously opposed to the current design. So we're in negotiations now. I'm holding a very firm line. It's another one where it's sort of the city, the county, and the county is myself and 4 others. And so, what I'm trying to do is really anchor on, okay, we need to redo for sure the part within downtown, which is segment 3. And if there needs to be any displacement, that has to be, everyone needs to be made whole. And then the other areas, sort of farther north, segments 1 and 2, there has got to be room for serious transit there. I mean, dedicated bus rapid transit lines, and there has to be a narrow footprint, and there's no reason why they're completely able to do that. So I'm trying to just hold the line there, and I think as the months progress, we'll know where we fall. But again, mobilizing the community is key here, and just sort of staying really focused.
Thank you, Judge. I know we're taking up your morning this morning. Is there any final thoughts you want to leave us with? We are rooting for your re-election. I've been in your corner from the beginning. Hold on. There is a question. I think that's.
Yeah, I think this is important. It touches on the crime issue. I was trying to scroll here too. Do you want me to answer that?
Yes,
Adrian?
please.
Okay, crime is up everywhere. We know that. And it's a very visceral issue. All of us care about crime. And the challenge is, how do you make sure that the folks that are truly a danger to the community are behind bars awaiting trial and dealt with accordingly, and those that are not a danger to the community are not put in jail unnecessarily to a point where they lose their jobs, they lose their livelihoods, they're forced to plead guilty when they're not guilty, that kind of thing. And ultimately they're sort of end up becoming it come out in a worse situation because of the type of environment they've been in. And so what's happening right now is the Republicans are very much trying to use our judges as scapegoats for the increase in crime. The accusation is that the judges are willingly releasing dangerous criminals in order for them to go and reoffend. And here's where we all need to correct the record. Number one, yes, crime is up. It's up everywhere. Number two, it is not up due to misdemeanor bail reform. We did misdemeanor bail reform in Harris County because our misdemeanor bail system was so discriminatory, it was unconstitutional. And a Republican appointed federal judge approved the reform. Independent court-appointed experts have confirmed that there's been no increase in crime due to that. Another point, the vast majority of the folks who have recidivated and were out on bond because they paid to be out. They were not out on bond because a judge gave them a free pass. It's simply because we still have a system where if you have the money, you can pay and get out. And also because the bail bondsmen have been lowering the bond amounts so that more people can get out. And so it's important to make those points. And finally, we take the crime issue very seriously. And it actually goes back to our backlog. There are so many cases, around 40, 50,000 cases in our system that are backlogged because of Hurricane Harvey and because the pandemics limited the use of the courtrooms and trials. And so that means that there's a lot of people that are simply having to await trial outside the jail because there is no space. And so what we've done in Harris County, we've invested $17 million for associate judges, visiting judges. We created a new felony court to try and process that docket. We gave the district attorney additional investigators, staff that can quickly process the cases on the ground. We gave law law enforcement millions of dollars for a faster system to process body cam records, because it used to take weeks for the body cam information to get to the prosecution and the defense. And so that would delay trials. So they're working on overhauling that. So it's a matter of hours, and the trial and the systems can continue. We've invested in violence interruption programs, so that, you know, if somebody is at the hospital with a gunshot wound, the folks go and say, hey, what happened, and go and try to mediate that before it gets out of hand. We've invested in public health teams going to mental health situations, sort of non-violent situations where the police is normally called, so that the police can focus on the violent issues. We are continuing to figure out what else we can do that is not increasing mass incarceration. We've tried the policies of the 80s. Republicans want us to go back to that, to scare people into thinking, put everybody in jail, and that's the solution. But we've been there, we've done that. It doesn't work. And so we're trying to come up with tough on crime and smart on crime issues. We are doing them, and we need to make sure that we're all united and not using our judges as scapegoats. But there is a problem. All of us have to work together on it. And those bills that passed the legislature, all they were there was some good provisions like additional training for magistrate judges, but the bulk of it is basically, you know, ruining our misdemeanor bail reform, which is going to be a problem with the federal judge. But also it still means that if you can pay your way out, you will. Like the folks that shot the New Orleans police officer and killed him, they had paid. Most 80-90% of folks that you hear in the news stories, they paid their bond, and the bills don't change anything because the legislators are in the pockets of the bail bondsmen. So I hope that gives folks some sort of tools in your back pocket, so when you're out in the community, you can help get this message out. But that's why also, you know, we got to fundraise and everything, so we can get the message out about everything we've been doing, and not let Republicans, you know, tell people that somehow we don't care about crime. I mean, all of us do.
Thank you very much for that. We again, speaking for myself, I am 100% behind you. I think that your election showed what the county could do as opposed to what the county was doing, and it wasn't doing much. I remember the first time I looked at the budget, it was one sheet of paper and there was nothing. And y'all actually have a budget person now to actually, you know, fill it out and be transparent with what's going on. And it's been night and day with the prior administrations and your administration. I know that your administration is staffing up actual policy experts in order to address needs. And that's not discussed a lot, what needs to go into good governance. But your office, when you inherited it, there was nothing there to do government, and y'all had to rebuild it. Build it on the fly. So kudos to you and your team for doing that. Any final words for us this morning? Because it's a beautiful morning. It is. We love these days.
Yeah, no, it's amazing. Just a big thank you. Let's keep going. I'm so proud to be able to fight this fight alongside each of you. And yeah, I hope everybody enjoys the weekend. Thank you for having me.
Thank you very much. Okay. I hope y'all got the talking points. Thank you, Judge Morton, for asking that question, for getting that in there. I do want to point out one, and I'll have to find it and send it out specifically when it comes to crime. Don't forget that the legislature just passed, permitless carry. So now, every Tom, Dick, and Harry's got a gun if they want one. And also, there's a study that's being worked on, and I have to find the data, where some of this crime is no longer crime with intent. It's crime of, I don't like you and I'm going to shoot you because we're having a dispute. And so there's differences. So, there's rob person for, wanting something, and then there's, just shooting you because we have a difference of opinion. We are going to go into all of the elected officials and everyone to introduce themselves and say hi quickly. And Eric's got that list.
I'm going to take a little bit of privilege here. I was writing down as everyone kind of joined the meeting, but we do have, as everyone knows, an election this November. So I'm going to go ahead and start with the three candidates that I saw that are on the ballot this November. The first is Sue Dygard, Trustee Sue Dygard.
Thank you. Good morning, everybody. I am Trustee Sue Dygard. I am the current trustee for District 5, running for re-election this fall. I've worked incredibly hard to bring stability to the district over my term, kept locally elected control, which was incredibly important. We've hired a permanent superintendent, and I'm ready to get back to work and build on that foundation for kids next year. Thank you.
Thank you. Trustee Holly Flynn Villaseca. Holly, you still with us?
Can you hear me now?
Yes.
Okay,
Yes.
good morning, everybody. I'm so inspired to listen to Judge Hidalgo. And as we know, the county's been beaten up over the last several years since her leadership, especially. And, that's how we've been sort of feeling at the HISD space, as we know as well. But as Trustee Dygard just mentioned, we are really working towards stability. We just hired a wonderful superintendent unanimously. We are making sure that we're focused on the pandemic response with our students, getting everything that they need, social emotional supports and academic supports, so that they can be successful. And we want to make sure that we continue to focus on really keeping our heads down and helping our students and our staff also continue with raises and a sustainable pathway towards that. So I'm the incumbent trustee. I hope to have your support, and thank you so much, Southwest Dems.
Thank you. Maria Benzon.
Hi, thanks, Eric. My name's Maria Benzon, and I'm running for school board, HIC school board trustee in District 5. I've been a teacher for over 20 years, and I have a PhD in educational psychology, where I focused a lot of time trying to figure out how to help kids and how to help kids perform better and learn more. So that's really my focus, is what I've done for a lot of the time. I'm really focused on three things. One is lessening the COVID academic gap. There's a lot of inequities that's happened in the last year, especially with the pandemic, and I want to work towards fixing that, focus on providing technology and ensuring all the kids have access to wraparound services. The other thing is that huge teacher shortage. We need to be really creative about how we solve that problem, because teachers are leaving and it's hard to fill those teacher positions. I worked at U of H as a professor trying to help math and science majors become teachers. And it is tough trying to help kids not just be teachers, but be good teachers. So how can we support teachers? So that's my other thing. And then the third thing is, yes, STAR scores are important, but as I've learned in my research with student motivation, we need to tap into kids' interests. We need to tap into what their goals are in order to help them succeed. So while test scores are important, we really need to think about bringing back the love of learning to kids, making that a priority, because through that love of learning, kids are going to definitely excel. So thank you again for this opportunity and to listen to Judge Hidalgo and for everybody's support. I look forward to talking to you all more. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Maria. Ann Sung is not on the call. She's has at a block walk this morning, but Ann Sung and Holly are both in races where they are the only Democrats. All of their opponents are Republicans, in some cases some pretty nasty Republicans. And just make sure to remind everybody that there is an election this November. It's important that we maintain control of HISD. And like Adrian said, we will be starting up some field work for the races that Holly and Ann are working in shortly. Okay, so moving on, we have Judge Deidre Davis.
Hello, 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 Southwest Democrats. This is Judge Deidre Davis. I am so happy to be here with you today, and thank you for your leadership. Adrian, Eric, you all are rock stars, and all the Southwest Democrats. As Joan Rivers said, can we talk? We need to separate fact from fiction. I'm a lifelong Democrat that believes that when you go to the polls, you need to be able to make informed decisions. We need proven, which is an important word. Proven, which means you don't have to guess. When you place a vote for Judge Deidre Davis, you're voting for proven track record. you're voting for Judge Deidre Davis. No need to guess. Proven. Rob, Bobby, in 2018, you all put me here, and I'm asking for your support and your continued support to be reelected in 2022. You get proven equality. I'm the judge. You don't have to guess. Look at the Facebook, look at Zooms. I've translated the court's website. English and Spanish are there. Performing weddings, I'm doing them in Spanish, the Spanish weddings. When I'm doing my weddings and it's same sex, and we've changed a lot of our literature to same sex literature when we see it's proper. The big sign I put on the board and they squeal when they see it, love is love. Proven, you don't have to guess. Efficiency, equality, you don't have to guess. Judge Deidre Davis is the judge that's there for you, been there for you. Judge Deidre Davis is the one that has been giving you proven leadership, proven dedicated to public service. I'm the one proven with the buses outside of the building, proven having the children come. Judge Deidre Davis, proven there for you. Thank you so much. Thank you.
Thank you, Judge. And
You're welcome.
just keep in mind, we do have a lot of you guys. So if you can kind of keep it to about 30 seconds, we didn't announce that up front, so I do apologize.
Oh, thank you, my apologies.
We do have no problem, Judge. We do have a lot of you guys. So next up is Judge Audrey Lawton, newly appointed Judge Audrey Lawton. Judge, you still there? All right, we'll come back. Judge Barbara Stalder.
Hi, Southwest Dems. This is your judge, Barbara Stalder. My friends call me Babs, Badass Barbara Stalder. I'm your incumbent judge of the 280th Domestic Violence Court. You elected me and provided me your support in 2018. I'm up for re-election again in 2022. You know a lot about me, but I'm going to give you another fun fact today. I was in college, I was a government intern for former Congressman Ken Benson. After my internship ended, he hired me to manage his local office. And I did that until I graduated from college and went off to law school. So now you know something about me you didn't know before, and I'm going to put my info in the chat. And just so glad to see you all.
Thank you, Judge. Judge Andrew Wright.
Good morning, Southwest Dems. Let you know when I try to send a text, you guys call my name. Look, I'm not going to take a whole bunch of your time. I know you got a ton of us. I'm the judge of Harris County Criminal Court at Law Number 7. I am experienced. I've been licensed 14 years, been practicing in the criminal courts for over 12 of that. I am board certified. I know what I'm doing. My opponent in the race only has less than 4 years of experience. I'd like to stay in that spot and continue doing the good work they did with trial reform. And thank you for your time.
Thank you, Judge. Judge Janice Berg. Judge Berg, you still there? All right, we'll come back to you. Jarrell Rogers.
Good morning, Southwest Dems. Happy Saturday morning. Hope everyone is enjoying this great weather. My name is Jarrell Rogers. I'm a candidate for Harris County Criminal Court at Law Number 14. And for me, it's about community, and about being present, and not merely present, but active in the community. I'm a former teacher with Sharpstown, right over Southwest. I'm a mentor of Big Brothers Big Sisters. I train officers on racial profiling. And when I become Judge of County Court 14, I'm going to bring that same continual community presence to the bench. Not be really present, not just going to sit on the bench. I'm going to continue to be active on the bench, be active in the community, because that is what matters. And I want to make sure that I'm doing what I can to contribute to going forward with the reform. So Jarrell Rogers, Harris County Criminal Court 14, Jarrell Rogers, Harris County Criminal Court 14, Jarrell Rogers, Court 14. Thank you.
Thank you, Jarrell. Judge Jason Wong.
Hi, good afternoon, Southwest Democrats. My name is Judge Jason Leung. I'm your incumbent judge of the 185th District Court. I remember the kindness that Eric and Adrian showed to me when I ran in 2016 and letting me sit with their table when it was Sharpstown Democrats. I'm a longtime Democrat. I grew up in the Southwest A-Leaf area. I'm your incumbent Democrat. I'm the judge of the 185th District Court. I have a very strong relationship to our community. I'm very proud to be the first and only Asian American elected to a district court bench in Harris County. As important as the Asian community is in Houston, they want to have representation. I believe I'm the best candidate to represent our Asian communities on our bench. I'm a Rice University graduate, University of Texas School of Law. In the 185th District Court, every person is treated like a person. A lot of them have mental health problems. A lot more cases come to our court because I'm the court for Veterans Court, which means more cases are assigned to me because of that distinction. And I'm proud to do that. I'm proud to be your incumbent judge. I'm Judge Jason Leung of the 185th District Court. My wife is a Marine Corps veteran, and I want your support in 2022. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Judge. Joseph Sanchez.
Good morning, Southwest Dems. Thank you for having me. My name is Joseph Sanchez, and I'm a candidate running to be judge of the 230th District Court. I'll keep it short. I currently work in the post-conviction writs division of the Harris County DA's office, where I investigate claims of actual innocence and other claims that attack people's convictions to make sure that they're not being wrongfully incarcerated. Doing that job, I have seen how the system can fail people on both sides of the courtroom, and I want to bring more error-free process to the 230th. I'll put my information in the chat. Thank you again, Joseph Sanchez, for the 230th.
Thank you. Judge Jason Cox.
Hi, everybody. Judge Jason Cox, Harris County Probate Court number 4. Since I was elected in 2018, I've worked hard to expand mental health services here in Harris County. As an example, our court, along with the University of Houston and the Harris Center, not too long ago received a $2.6 million 4-year grant to create an outpatient treatment program, which is off and running and now looking to expand. We've been in talks with people like the VA in order to keep increasing mental health services in Harris County. I've also recently started working with the State Committee for People with Disabilities to review our guardianship laws to make sure that we continue to preserve the rights of persons that are subject to guardianship. I'm up for re-election in 2022, and I ask for your support, and thank you for letting me be here this morning.
Thank you, Judge. Judge Gloria Lopez.
Hi, good morning. I am the judge and incumbent of the 308 Family District Court, and I want to thank everybody for this opportunity and your support. And the last time I am running for re-election, so I'd ask for your support again. Again, that's Gloria Lopez for the 308 Family District Court. Have a wonderful day. It's a great Saturday, by the way.
Thank you. Let's see, Diana Alexander, I think you're here on behalf of Michelle, correct?
Yes, I am. So I am Michelle Palmer's campaign manager. I couldn't be prouder to support her in her run again for State Board of Education, District 6. So I'm going to drop her Act Blue information in the chat. We could sure use your help, especially with the redistricting maps that are being proposed. It's going to be a wild ride, but I'm here for it, and I'm here for Michelle. Thank you.
Judge David Singer.
Yes, good morning. Thank you very much, Adrian and Eric. I appreciate it. Southwest Dems, appreciate all you do. I was elected in 2018, Judge David Singer of County Criminal Court at Law number 14. I'm the only candidate for any judicial position that has over 40 years of legal experience, has worked at the Court of Appeals, has worked at the Harris County District Attorney's office, has been in private practice representing citizens accused of crime for over 2 decades, and has also been a judge. No other candidate can say that. These are not spots for on-the-job training. You need to re-elect your experienced judges. I'm one of those judges, David Singer, Harris County Criminal Court at Law number 14. Thank you.
Thank you, Judge. Andrea Bell.
Good morning. I'm Andrea Bell, and I'm running for the 185th District Court. I have a background in community development and worked with at-risk youth and young adults in the 2nd and 3rd wards. Before going to law school, I'm an adjunct law professor, and I currently handle 1/2 of the child homicide cases in Harris County as a prosecutor. I'm running for the 185th because I want to help with the case backlog, which was happening in that particular court prior to the pandemic. My opponent only tried 5 cases in the 14 months he was on the bench, before the pandemic even started, driving the docket from 916 cases to over 1,600 cases. And each one of those represents an individual who is languishing in the criminal justice system, and I can work harder for the county to make sure those people get their day in court. I'm also running because I want to create a youthful offenders court in the 185th to help young offenders between 17 and 25 through the adult probation system to give them a more individualized path to rehabilitation. Again, Andrea Bell for the 185th, and I'll put my information in the chat.
Thank you. Judge Amy Martin. Judge Martin.
Good
you still-
morning. Sorry
There we
about
go.
that, guys. I'm Judge Amy Martin. I'm the first woman to serve in the 263rd since the bench was created over 43 years ago. I, along with my 2018 class of criminal district judges, have withstood many storms, the media, the pandemic, the freeze, and we've held in there. Things aren't great, but they're better than they would have been if we weren't on the bench. Thank you, Amy Martin for the 263rd.
Thank you, Judge. Judge David Fleischer. You still there, Judge? Okay. Twee Lee.
Hi, good morning, Southwest Democrats. My name is Twee Lee, and I'm running for the County Criminal Court at Law Number 10. I am a criminal defense attorney. I've been licensed for nearly 15 years, and I have spent decades defending the indigent, the poor, and also women and children. I am a huge supporter of the community. I am on various boards to train young lawyers and to also train first generation college kids and high school kids to be successful in life. Again, Twee Lee, I'm running for County Criminal Court at Law Number 10. Thank you.
Thank you, Twee. Judge Shannon Baldwin.
Good morning, everyone. Beautiful Saturday. I agree with those that have already said that. I just wanted to stop for a moment while we're all sort of promoting ourselves and say, if you're like me, you take a look at your screen and see all of the little squares, but look at us. And I say that to say this 2018 class and those of us that are joining or whatever the case may be, we wouldn't be under attack now if we didn't look like we look. This has to be the greatest example of what diversity looks like. And we all walked in with varying levels of education and experience, but we went in and now we happen to represent a group of judges who have done what no other judges have ever done before. We've survived inheriting a federal lawsuit, half of us. We survived inheriting some of the worst dockets you could ever imagine. We survived a flood, a pandemic, a freeze, and we're still here. So I just want to say that I'm incredibly proud of my colleagues. The fight is not over because the media is feeding a false narrative as it pertains to all courts, quite frankly. And I want us to continue to unite and face these issues head on and tell the truth. Tell the truth about this so that they don't win in messaging, because that's part of the problem is we don't collectively tell the right message. We have everything available to us. We look amazing. If you stop and look at, we look amazing. We have all this great experience. There is no reason. Don't be afraid of the tough questions. Get out there and talk to people. Be careful about talking to the media, but get out there and talk to people and tell them the truth and tell them, you don't want what you've had in the past. It didn't work, but it is working now. I have placed, and I saw some other judges do the same. We have the federal monitors report. I placed the link in the chat. If you want talking points, I have talking points as well. We cannot do this alone. We are asking for your help. Let's collectively get together and tell them how wonderful we really are. We collectively really are. And in the meantime, I do want your continued support. My name is Judge Shannon Baldwin. I am running for re-election in Harris County Criminal Court at Law number 4, Shannon, middle initial B, Baldwin, my middle initial stands for Brichelle, but for your purposes, it stands for back to the bench with Shannon Baldwin. Thank you so much, you all.
Thank you, Judge. And I'm just gonna throw in an amen while I'm at it. Judge Natalia Oakes.
Hi, I'm Natalia Oakes, judge of the 313th Juvenile District Court, and I had 20 years experience practicing in juvenile court in delinquencies and CPS cases before being elected judge in 2018. I do have a primary opponent who has endorsed change, and this is exactly what we did 3 years ago, and it's a source of pride. The change we have in effective rehabilitation and diversion programs and community input. And I ask you to go to my website, nataliaforjudge.com. I preside over gang court, and there's just so much going on. And I hope I get your support again this year. Natalia Oakes, 313 Juvenile Court. Thank you.
Thank you, Judge. Judge Cedric Walker.
Good morning, Southwest Dems. My name is Cedric Walker. I'm the judge of Harris County Criminal Court number 11. I also preside over one of our county's misdemeanor DWI treatment court programs. And I just want to say that we've done a lot of good work to overhaul our criminal justice system at the misdemeanor level. And your support in the past and your continued support in the future will help us continue doing the good work that we needed to do to change our system from what it used to be. I think it's also important, and I think everybody on this call understands these judicial elections are important, all the county races are important, but just stress to your friends and family and those who are interested that we need to maintain these seats, because at the judicial level and at the county commissioner court level, if we didn't have the folks we have in office, we probably would still be, and I think we would be in the same position we were 3 or 4 years ago. The county commissioners court being the 3-2 split that it is now has helped us implement some things that certainly wouldn't be in place now. And likely if it was 3-2 the other way, the lawsuit that was found our system to be unconstitutional would likely still be going on. We'd still have the same system we had in the past. So again, I'm Judge Cedric Walker, and I'm certainly asking for your support, and we all need your support to continue this good work we've been doing. Thank you very much and have a good weekend.
Thank you, Judge. Judge Mike Englehart. Judge Englehart, you still there? Okay, Jamal Haynes.
Good morning, everyone. My name is Jamal Haynes, and I'm running for the 183rd Criminal District Court. I'm running because I believe it's important that you have a criminal lawyer with experience sitting on a criminal district court bench. I am the only candidate in the race who has represented the state of Texas in prosecutions and who has also stood in court and represented the rights of the accused. And I've done that for approximately 14 years. It's important that you have someone with a balanced perspective. It's important that you have someone that knows when to be tough and someone that knows when to show compassion. So my name is Jamal Haynes, running for the 183rd Criminal District Court. Again, I'm Jamal Haynes, running for the 183rd Criminal District Court. Thank you.
Thank you. Judge Leah Shapiro.
Hi, good morning, everyone. My name is Leah Shapiro, and I'm the judge in the 315th Juvenile District Court. We handle delinquency cases and CPS cases. I am running for re-election in 2022. I hope to get your support again. We do have 2 specialty courts. We deal with the juvenile sex trafficking court as well as the juvenile mental health court. We also are the pilot court for dual status, so we spend a lot of extra time with children and families. I ended indiscriminate shackling in the courtroom. I hope to get your support again. Leah Shapiro for the 315th District Court. Thanks for having me.
Thank you, Judge. And I apologize for always mispronouncing your name. I'm sorry about that. I will get it.
Not a problem.
Judge Jermaine Tanner.
Good morning. I am Judge Jermaine Tanner of the 311th Family District Court. I've had the honor of being elected by you all back in 2018. I'm headed into my third year on the bench, and as promised, I've maintained a court that's fair and incredibly efficient. Collectively, we've brought compassion back to the bench, and we've ensured that every voice is appropriately heard when litigants come before us. I'm looking forward to continuing to serve the citizens of Harris County, and I would greatly appreciate your vote and your support with our upcoming 2022 primary. Thank you again. I am Judge Jermaine J. Tanner of the 311th Family District Court.
Thank you, Judge. Denise Atkinson Brown.
Good morning, y'all. This is Denise Brown. I'm running for the 270th Civil District Court. I'm a 20-year trial lawyer and litigator, and what that means is I'm not afraid of jury trials. And right now, jury trials aren't happening in the 270th, which also means that justice is not actually being done. I'm also running on integrity to make sure that when the court says something, it's the truth. Judges should be held to the highest standard of ethics and honesty. And finally, I'm running on equality to make sure that when a litigant is standing in front of me, or a attorney or a juror or witness or anyone, they're treated with the same level of respect and dignity as everyone else. It doesn't matter what you look like, who you love, what you believe, or where you come from. The residents of Harris County and the voters deserve a court that they can believe in and that they can be proud of. And so I will bring that back to the 270th. Denise Brown for the 270th. Thank you.
Thank you. Let's see. Next, we had State Representative Gene Wu, but I think he has left. We know that he is certainly incredibly busy these days, and we appreciate his work in Austin. Let's see. Judge Alex Salgado.
Morning, everyone. Thanks for having me. Judge Alex Salgado, your current incumbent judge for County Criminal Court at Law Number 1. So I just want to say thank you all for your support. That's okay. Somebody wants to say hi real quick.
Uh-oh.
Thank you all for your support. In 2018, we've done a lot of good things, including bail reform. Do not let the media scare you and the other side scare you. Just look at the facts. I shared the website for the Monitor's report so you can see the facts of what bail reform has done. Another interesting statistic that I just saw the other day, that ever since we implemented bail reform in 2019, 67% of misdemeanors have been dismissed. So think about all those people that in years past would have probably had to plead guilty to get out of jail. Now they can get out of jail, work on their cases, and find an alternate resolution that ends in dismissal and not a conviction. So anyhow, again, keep all your incumbent misdemeanor court judges. We've done some good things. Thank you all for your hard work.
Thank you, Judge. Judge Kyle Carter.
Hello, Southwest Dems. This is Judge Kyle Carter, a lifelong Democrat, a native of Sharpstown, and your judge of the 125th District Court for the last 13 years. I'm running for 14th Court of Appeals Place 2, and I'm running to bring experienced and qualified leadership to the Courts of Appeals. I've been, as I said earlier, your judge for the last 12 years. I've been twice elected president of the Texas Association of District Judges. I have I'm the president and founder of a charity called Judges at Work in Schools, where we go out and work with local schools and children of all ages. Created another organization called Judges Out in Neighborhoods. I've won awards for my work both on and off the bench. And I've done all of this while treating everyone who comes before me with equality, dignity, and respect. I'm asking for your vote for 14th Court of Appeals Place 2. It's never been a more important time than now to get qualified and experienced judges on the Courts of Appeals. We've all recently seen that one appellate justice their decision can affect the lives of millions of people. So it's so important that we have good, qualified Democrats on the Courts of Appeals. Thank you very much, Judge Kyle Carter, 14th Court of Appeals, Place 2.
Thank you, Judge. Judge Chris Morton.
Good morning, Southwest Democrats. Can you hear me?
We can.
Oh, excellent. I'm the judge of the 230th Criminal District Court. Over the last 3 years, I've had the opportunity to stand up for the law against Republican lawmakers across the board. I was the first judge in Texas to find some of Governor Abbott's executive orders unconstitutional. I did it twice. There are other judges who followed me, and those orders are used statewide. Some people may think that was error, but those orders stand to this day and they're being copied across the state. I've had the opportunity to stand up against Republicans in the legislature when Representative Gene Wu and other Democrats were seeking to have a case heard that would keep them from being arrested. I was the first judge to hear them out. Other judges followed, but I was first. I've stood up to Republicans in the Supreme Court and in the Court of Criminal Appeals, and I've done so successfully across the board. I've never been overturned by any of them. I've never had a mandamus. I stand up to the Republicans who are looking to oppress us, and I do it so much, and they're so afraid of me, they even entered resolutions to have me removed from the bench because I have the audacity to stand up against them. If you want judges who will stand up to oppression and will stand up to Republicans who are trying to do that to all of us, then you want to keep Chris Morton on the bench in the 230th. Thank you. I look forward to your support.
Thank you, Judge. County Treasurer Dylan Osborne.
Hey, good morning, y'all. Southwest Democrats. It's your County Treasurer, Dylan Osborne. I just want to stop by and say hello this morning. I'll try to make it quick. I had a lot of support from this group in 2018, so I hope to keep that moving into 2020. I'm really looking forward to seeing everybody over the next few months in person. So thanks for having us, and thanks for sticking around, you guys. Dylan Osborne, your County Treasurer in 22. Thanks.
Thank you, Dylan. Judge Toria Finch.
Good morning, Southwest Democrats. My name is Judge Toria Finch. I am the presiding judge of Harris County Criminal Court at Law Number 9. I'm also the presiding judge for all of the 16 county misdemeanor courts here in Harris County. I want to tell you that I want to echo what Judge Hidalgo stated and report to you that the state of the misdemeanor courts here in Harris County is strong. We entered these races when it was not popular, because we knew that there were things that we would have to face, like a bail lawsuit. We knew that we would have to face the pressures of changing a corrupt and unconstitutional system that continued to disparage and discriminate against all people of color and socioeconomic issues. We've done everything that we said we would do in spite of having lack of resources, a pandemic, and things that no other court had to deal with. We inherited backlogs on the day we stepped onto those benches, but we still fulfilled our promises. We did move forward with the settlement. We've assigned a management assigned counsel to take care of our cases, and we're still moving forward with restorative justice programs that will continue to make this community safe and then benefit the people that appear before us daily. This could not have been done without all of us. And I am so glad, I'm so proud of my colleagues. And what we need from you is to not buy into what you see on TV, but to trust that your vote was right in 2018 and re-affect that same vote by re-electing us in 2022. I'm proud of my colleagues. I'm proud of all of the Democrats here, and we appreciate your support. Thank you, Eric. Thank you so much, Adrian and Southwest Democrats. Again, this is Judge Toria Finch, Harris County Criminal Court at Law Number 9, and I would appreciate your vote and support. Have a great evening.
Thank you, Judge. Judge Jim Kovach.
Hey, Southwest Democrats, thanks for having me here. It's so great to hear of all the accomplishments from my colleagues over in the criminal courts at law. I'm the judge of Harris County Civil Court at Law Number 2, and together with my colleagues, Judge LaShawn Williams, Leslie Briones, and Audrey Lawton Evans, I want to tell you some of the accomplishments of the county civil courts at law. The first 2 years I was elected the administrative judge. We took an antiquated system by the Republicans. I'm the first Democrat to sit on the bench in 40 years. We took an antiquated system where they were still using paper files. We were literally, when we started the job, we were signing papers and handing files back to our clerks. By going electronic, like all other courts, we saved the county over 3,000 square feet of office space from the former file room. We've given that back to our clerk, Tanisha Hudspeth, who now has that space available for additional offices and for training room. The other thing we did when we talk about the I-45 expansion, our courts used to be the exclusive jurisdiction for eminent domain cases and condemnations. When the county or the state is going to take that property to make it a highway, well, they're affecting a landowner, and those private property landowners have the right to be fully compensated for that property. We inherited a list of people that did not look like this room in the Zoom room, and yet the only requirement to be a commissioner is to be a property owner in Harris County, Texas. Therefore, we started a process where we have special training classes, and we've had one every year, and we were going to have another one on November 4th. We've diversified the people who are hearing the cases. If you're going to take somebody's property up in Acres Home, we should have commissioners that are sitting there, the 3 special commissioners who look like and represent or live in Acres Homes. And we've done that. We've also made sure that all of our appointments, these appointments get paid $250 an hour. We also appoint lawyers to be ad litem's, mediators. There's many appointments. We follow Judge Sandhill's lead, and the county civil courts at law, all 4 of us, require that you have to have implicit bias training if you want an appointment from our court, and we mean it. And so our list has shrunk dramatically, and we're going to see change because a lot of lawyers want these appointments, but we want them to take the implicit bias training before they're going to get them. So when you put us on the bench in 2018 and we started in 2019, there are great things that we've done. And so I ask you to re-elect Judge Jim Kovacs for Harris County Civil Court 2.
Thank you, Judge. Judge Genesis Draper.
Good morning, Southwest Dem. So good to see everybody this morning. My name is Genesis Draper. I am the judge of Harris County Criminal Court at Law number 12. I had your support in 2020, and I am asking for your support in 22. I was proud to walk the streets of Southwest Houston with the Southwest Dems to make sure that we got good Democrats elected. As my colleagues have said, I'll just echo, I told you that I would do what was right and what was lawful despite the pressure, and I have done that. My colleagues and I have not only done that, but we have led the county and the state, and we have people contacting us nationwide to follow what's been done here in Harris County. We will continue to do the work that you sent us there to do. So I am asking for your support, Genesis Draper for Harris County Criminal Court at Law number 12. I do want to add, I put this in the chat, there are some really important amendments on the November 2nd ballot. So I want everyone to please, if you're like me, that's the only thing on your ballot, please do go out and vote on those. I cannot tell you how to vote on those, but I will say that there is an amendment on there. There is a proposition on there that pertains to changing the requirements for judges. And the suggestion is that the ones who are sitting on the bench now are not as qualified. And I will say that we cleared the same hurdles as our predecessors. And so I would ask you to really focus on those amendments and please give them your attention. Great to see everyone. I'll see you out in the streets.
Thank you, Judge. Judge Linda Dunson.
Thank you, Eric, for saving the best for last. No, but good morning. Next month, I'm gonna sign in at 9:30 anyway. Good morning, everyone. My theme is sort of like Judge Baldwin's. I just asked you all not to forget. Remember that 2018 elections in Harris County was a shock to the nation. Don't forget the hard work and the concerted efforts between the Democratic clubs and the 2018 candidates. It wasn't easy, but we got it done. We made it happen. Don't forget, I'm not asking you to vote blindly. I'm asking you to vet the candidates. And while you're vetting the candidates, don't forget that the 2018 candidates who are now incumbents, we've had to work hard through aftermath of Hurricane Harvey. We've have to work through a current pandemic. We've had to work through a flood, a freeze, and we've had to work through an ongoing onslaught and attack on our democracy. The elected officials have continued to work hard to make sure that all our systems function across Harris County. And in particular, when you come to Linda Dunson, I'm asking you not to forget and to cover me with your grace. I have performed beyond your expectations. I go to work every day. I have no backlog. I respect everyone that come before me, and I have judicial demeanor. I have no problem with paving the way for others to come behind me. But remember, the incumbents, we had the vision, we had the boldness to get out and make it happen. We're not done. We're asking you to let us finish creating a path that every citizen in America can enjoy, that everybody can enjoy the same equality,
Thank you, Judge.
Thank you. Linda Dunson, 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 Dunson. Thank you.
Thank you, Judge. Pamela Medina.
Hi, good morning. Thank you, Southwest Dems, for having me. I really appreciate this time and opportunity to speak to everybody. And thank you so much for your speaker today. She's always riveting. I'm Pamela Medina, and I am running for probate court number 2 in Harris County. I would like your support in making history. I would be the first Latina bilingual to take a probate bench in the history of Harris County. My background is practicing probate attorney. Prior to that, I worked on the corporate side of trust and estates management. Prior to that, I was a law clerk for a Harris County District Civil Court. And prior to that, I was a special needs teacher as well as a bilingual teacher. So I bring what is necessary to the probate court, which is definitely the expertise, competence, and most importantly, the compassion. It's a very difficult place when you're in the probate courts. You're either dealing with a lost loved one or lost capacity or some sort of mental health issue. So I bring all the experience as well as the compassion that is necessary. Again, I hope for your support. Pamela Medina for probate court number 2. Thank you so much.
Thank you. Judge Sandil, are you still here? Judge Sandil? All right. Justice Jerry Zimmerer, I noticed you on the call. Did you want to speak?
Oh, sure. If you've got just a minute, I just want to say, can you hear me?
Yes.
I just want to say how proud I am of all of you. I am just incredibly proud. Thank you, Eric and Adrian, for putting this on. Southwest Democrats are such a wonderful organization. I see you out walking blocks. And in fact, I just recommended Brandon Zarate to you, Eric, yesterday for block walking expertise. And I'm so proud of all of the Democratic lawyers and all of the effort that you put into your trials. I am so proud that the vast majority of everything that I do is to affirm your judgments. And I hear you on the record. I know you're struggling to do the right thing, and I'm so proud of each and every one of you. So thank you, Southwest Democrats. And Lina Hidalgo was just wonderful, the most articulate explanation of the criminal problem that we see in the news all the time. Thank you for putting this on.
Thank you, Justice Zimmerer. Judge Hillary Unger. Judge Unger, you still there?
Yes, I am. I'm sorry.
It's okay.
Yeah, I had to unmute myself, which is something that I'm always telling people in my court. My name's Hillary Unger. I'm the judge for the 248th District Court, which is a criminal court. And I just want to explain to you the things that, as far as bond reform on the felony side, prior to me taking the bench, Republican judges that were there, it was either pay bond, whatever your amount of money was, you get out, or you stay in. Since we've been on the bench, in particular, I can tell you what I always do is, especially for low-level people, I get them attached right in the beginning to mental health services or treatment services, making sure that before people get out, they have a 30-day supply of their psychiatric medicine, making sure that when they get out, they're attached to services, attaching people to the reentry program through the Harris Center, where homeless people can get set up, homeless people with mental health problems can get set up with housing and services when they're on the outside to break the cycle of recidivism. These are things that the Democratic judges that came in are doing, and they've started doing when we first got in. That was not done before. It's very important that you consider what we've done and support all of the Democrats. My name's Hillary Unger. I'm your judge for the 248th District Court. And Hillary Unger, thank you for your support. You supported me in the past. I'm asking for your support again. Thank you.
Thank you, Judge. Judge Lauren Reeder, are you still here? Lauren? Judge Tristan Longino, are you still here? Is there anyone that's running for office either this year or next year that I missed? Speak now or forever hold your peace. Going once. Going twice. Okay, thank you all.
Okay, before I dismiss us for the day and have a great weekend, there's one fun thing that I need to share with you real quick. Hold on. We are going to be we're going to test these. It is a Southwest Democrats baseball jersey. The current price we're looking at is $45. We are not pre-ordering these. You have to actually put in the order, and we're not fronting them. We're not going to buy a bunch of them. In other words, we're going to order exactly the amount that we need. So please let us know if you're interested. I'm going to say shamelessly copied this from the Katy Democrats. We saw them. We had a block walk in 256, and I was shocked, and I told the board, I was like, I really want one. So we're moving forward with these. So here's something to walk around in. So that's that. The other bit of news I want to share. Stop that. And it is a point of personal privilege that I would like to share with you all. As you all know, last year I ended up in the hospital, diagnosed with diabetes, and I would like to give you an update on my health condition. I'm off insulin. I've been off insulin for the last 22 days. So I am now just on oral medication. So we are moving forward. I wanted to share that with you. My mom knows, she's extremely happy, my family knows. I've waited 3 weeks to share this information just so it could process, and yes, my blood sugar is well controlled. So I just wanted to share with y'all, since I know most of you and we've been very close for years. So happy Saturday. And so with that happy note, if there is anything else, we are still planning on a education forum, just to remind people that HISD election. Yes, sir, Mr. Wald.
I don't want to interrupt your announcements. I just wanted to make a motion to adjourn the meeting when that's appropriate.
Thank you. Eric, what was the announcement from Judge Sandel for the 30th?
Hang on one second. Sorry, I had to pull up the email. Judge Sandel is inviting all club members to an event that he is hosting on Thursday, September 30th from 5 to 8 p.m. at the Hay Merchant. It's kind of his campaign kickoff that he's inviting the clubs and orgs to. Now, Southwest Democrats does not endorse any candidates in the primary election. So this is just passing on an announcement that he had asked us to, and he wasn't able to make the announcement himself at the meeting. So again, we'll send out an email with this event announcement, as well as our parent chapter of the Texas Blue Action Democrats are going to be having a conversation about permitless carry with Shannon Watts, the founder of Moms Demand Action. I'm going to go ahead and put a link, the Mobilize link to that in the chat. That event is coming up on Wednesday, September 29th by Zoom. And so everyone, of course, is welcome to that as well.
And we will send those links out shortly, just so you'll have them. And with that, we have a motion on the floor to adjourn. Is there a second? Just wave your hand if you're on.
Second.
Thank y'all. All in favor? Go your Saturday. Thank you all very much for joining us today. Thank you.
Bye.
Have a great day, everyone.
You.
Wonderful weekend.
All those in favor, hit leave.
Thank you. Bye-bye.
Bye.
Thank you. Excellent meeting. Thank you, everyone.
Thank you
Great
very much.
meeting.
Wonderful meeting. Bye-bye.
Great meeting. Great meeting.
Bye-bye.
Good meeting. Thanks as always.
I think we should stay a
Bye-bye.
little. No. Bye, Eric. Bye, Adrian.
I got
Eric.
shopping to do. Y'all have a great week.
Adrian, I'm interested in one of those shirts. How much they cost
45.
and how do I get it?
Send it. We'll send out an order form shortly. We just wanted to see if there was interest. And there was,
Yes, I definitely want to pay for mine, but I don't know what size I wear. I wear one size in the shoulders and a different size in the hips. I don't know what size to get.
well, I'll see if we can't get a size chart together.
Okay, thank you so very much.
Thank you.
Maybe I go to the baseball stadium and try a shirt on, see what size I wear, and then I'll tell you. Thank you.
Have a good
Hey,
one.
it was a wonderful meeting, and our speaker was very informative.
Always.
Very informative.
And so was Adrian. The information
Adrian was always
he gave.
informative.
Absolutely.
It was very informative. It cleared up a lot of misconception.
Eric is informative too. Eric is. My question is, this video can be replayed on Facebook?
I think so, yes. It is streaming. In fact, I'm about to end it.
Yeah,
I missed the very first part. Thank you so very much.
it should be available shortly on our Facebook page, and we will also try to get it up on our YouTube channel as well within the next few days.
Well, that'd be great because I have a lot of people that don't have Facebook. Thank you so very much. Y'all be safe. You were good too, Eric.
Thank you.
Bye, everybody.
Bye, Ms. Dent.